Good afternoon. Today we'll be discussing regarding manner of election of the President of India. In the earlier class, I gave you some introduction with respect to the President, and we understood that the President is elected through a method called proportional representation by means of the single transferable vote. So today in this particular class, let's try to understand what exactly is that. So what exactly is the proportional representation and how exactly the President of India is elected? So this is one of the very important aspects, and I know that you're also very much eager to know what exactly is this. So before I go ahead, I would like to show you the document and I would like to show you some points. Let's understand those words, and after that we move forward. So let me open the document for you. And see here, with respect to this particular topic, you please be very attentive, and every point that I'm going to discuss with you is absolutely very important, and the link between one point and the other point is also important. Because of any reason, if you miss the link, the total concept is gone. That's the reason why pay 100% attention and listen very carefully, and the whole process will be clearly understood to you. So here is a document. I am opening it for you. Look at this. First, let's try to understand certain words like single member constituency, voting system, alternative voting system. After this, so we'll go ahead with respect to the discussion on the manner of election. So when it comes to the single member constituency, what exactly is this? So there is one vacancy. If you look at the President of India, how many people can become the president? At a time, only one person can become the president. And we know that the term of our president is coming to an end by July 24th. So obviously, after 24th, there is no president. Hence, before that date itself, we need to elect one more person as the President of India. Right? So only one vacancy will be there. And for that vacancy, there is no limitation. Any number of members can contest in the election. Of course, the contesting candidates must have certain qualifications, and we understood those qualifications in the previous class. So anybody who is coming under those qualifications, like a citizen of India, and who has completed 35 years of age, that person is eligible to contest in the election. So maybe 4, 5, 6, 10 members are contesting in the election, but at the end of the day, only one person is declared elected. That is called a single member constituency. And if you look at, there is only one president and there is only one vice president. That is called a single member constituency. In the similar manner, if you look at our Lok Sabha, 543 seats are there. Right, from each constituency, there is no limitation, and n number of people may contest in the election. But from each constituency, at the end of the day, only one person will be declared elected, and it is called a single member constituency. And because we are discussing about the President of India, so this is the concept that is related to single member constituency, meaning only one person will be declared elected as the President of India. Right? So second point, what we try to understand is that straight voting system. So we have another method called alternative voting system. Let's try to understand what exactly is this. Most of you might have voted in the Lok Sabha elections and also in the assembly elections. Many people from various political parties, somebody from Congress party, somebody from BJP, somebody from Samajwadi party, BSP, RJD, like this, from various political parties are contesting in the elections. Right? So imagine a situation, there is a constituency. In the constituency, 10 members are contesting from different political parties. And the people have voted in the elections. And the people have voted in the election. Now, out of these 10 members, who will be declared elected? Out of these 10 members, anybody who got the highest number of votes will be declared elected. What do you mean by this, first of all? Highest number of votes in the sense, numerically, whoever got highest number, that person will be declared elected. Imagine a situation, 100 votes are there, 10 candidates are contesting, and the highest number has been received in the form of 30 votes. So, meaning 30 votes were given to one candidate, 29 votes were given to some candidate, 20 votes were given to some candidate, like 5, 4, like this. So, if you calculate, if you look at all these things, the person who got highest number of votes is 30, and 30 votes person will be declared elected. But if I look at the situation logically, 30 members have voted for a person, but the remaining 70% have voted against the winning candidate. But still, I am considering the person with the numerical strength is to be elected. That is called a straight voting system. But if I take this alternative voting system where this numerical strength is not sufficient here, winning a candidate must get minimum 50% of the votes plus one. Minimum 50% plus one, in the sense you need to have the support of at least half plus one support. Then only the candidate will be declared elected. The exact thing is happening even in the election of the President of India. This is not a straight voting system, but it is an alternative voting system where the winning candidate must get minimum 50% plus one votes, then only he will be declared elected. He or she will be declared elected. Clear? And this mechanism is called proportional representation by means of the single transferable vote. Right? So we understood the meaning of the single member constituency. We understood what is alternative voting system. We also understood what is straight voting system. Fine. So after understanding this one, let's try to go ahead and understand how exactly the President of India will be elected. Right? Before that, I would like to show you one more point. Known point only. Kindly have a look at this. Look at this. So with respect to electoral college of the President of India, you know that elected members of the Lok Sabha, elected members of the Rajya Sabha, state legislative assemblies, elected members of state legislative assemblies, meaning 29 states, and assemblies of Delhi and Pondicherry, only this number will take part in the election of the President of India. Now, how exactly you will go ahead? How exactly you'll go ahead? And one point you already know, that the election is conducted by the Election Commission. Right? Schedule has already been released. On 14th, notification is going to come up, and on July 17th, election is going to be held. Now, how exactly the election will be held? That is important. You know what is the Electoral College. First of all, you need to provide a facility for conducting the elections. That job will be taken care by the Election Commission. But certain principles are involved in conducting these elections. President is representing entire nation. That is the reason why every region has to be represented in the election of the president. Minority group should not be neglected. That is the reason why we adopted a different mechanism for the conducting election of the president. I'll just show you 2 points, then we'll be moving ahead. Listen to these statements very clearly. The Constitution provides for the election of the president by the system of proportional representation by means of the single transferable vote. Okay. The Constitution also provides for weighting of the weightage of the votes of the election of the president based on 2 fundamental principles. The weightage will be decided in the 2 fundamental principles. What are these principles? Let's try to understand. First one is that to secure as far as possible uniformity in the scale of representation of different states of the union. Of the union means entire India. which emphasizes the similarity in the status of the states of the union, and secondly, to secure parity between the states as a whole and the union in order to work up the idea of the federal compact. What do you mean by this? India is a federation. Yes, obviously, somebody is going to be the president of India. Hence, both at the central level and also at the state level, the people should be allowed to participate in the elections. That is the reason why the members of the Lok Sabha, members of the Rajya Sabha at the central level, and the members in the state legislative assemblies are permitted to vote in the election only to represent the federal concept. So now let's try to understand how exactly the voting will take place and how exactly it will be calculated. First, let's go to a state where you have an assembly. Every state has got an assembly. Take up any state as you like. Of course, I got some example of Andhra Pradesh and also, this is Punjab. I'll show you that example and how do you calculate. In every state, you have some MLAs who are elected. And the number of MLAs elected in each state vary from state to state, and this depends on the population of the state. That is the reason why if you look at Uttar Pradesh, you have 403 members. Sikkim, I have just 32 members. So because there is a huge variation in the population in the state of UP and also in the state of Sikkim. That is the reason why the number is not common with respect to number of MLAs in each state. And it will vary from state to state. Irrespective of that, let's take up a state. And every state has got its own population. And kindly remember, the election of the president should always be conducted based on the recent population. Recent population, in the sense we'll come to know about the recent population based on conducting the census. In India, we conduct a census every 10 years. And our latest census is 2011. But please make a point very clearly that whatever the calculation we are going to do now, that calculation is based on 1971 population and not other population. After 1971, we conducted many times the census, but still why you are going for 1971 population? This is because whatever the strength I have in the Lok Sabha and various state assemblies today, that strength is based on 1971 population. Meaning, in the year 1976, through 42nd Amendment, the number of seats in the Lok Sabha and the number of seats in various assemblies have been frozen up to the year 2000. Listen carefully. Every point is very important. Based on the 1971 population, in the year 1976, number of seats in the Lok Sabha and number of seats in various assemblies have been frozen up to the year 2000. Again, in the year 2001, through 84th Amendment, the period has been extended up to 2026. So, as of today, the number of seats in the Lok Sabha and the number of seats in various assemblies have been frozen up to the year 2026. Initially, it was frozen up to 2000. Later, it has been extended up to the year 2026. Clear? So, when you are not increasing the strength of the Lok Sabha and assemblies, and you are taking 1971 population to consideration, this is the main section which is going to vote in the election of the president. Obviously, presidential election should also be conducted on the basis of the 1971 population and not on any other census population, not on any other census report. Am I clear? So that is the reason why. So we take up the 1971 population to consideration. Am I clear? So if I am calculating something that is based on 1971 population, and you know what is the electoral college, every member will be given certain votes. Clear? That is a vote value of a member. First, let's calculate vote value of an MLA. MLA is located in a state, in the state assembly. So first, let's go to a state Look at only that state. Let's try to understand what is the population of that state. Let's understand how many elected MLAs are there from that state. Once you know this particular figure, then you can calculate the vote value of an MLA. Single MLA vote value is coming into picture. Clear? And after that, right, how do you calculate this? First of all, you need to take the total population of a state into consideration. Total population means 1971 population, and that should be divided by number of elected MLAs in that particular state. Clear? Nominated member, not permitted. Hence we are taking only elected members into consideration, and these elected members will, total population divided by number of elected MLAs, and you will get a quotient, and that quotient should be divided by 1000, and whatever the result you get, that is the vote value of an MLA in that particular state, one MLA. And if you want to get the total value of all the MLAs, you have to multiply number of MLAs with the value of one MLA. So if you calculate like this, you will get the total value of all the MLAs in one state. Am I clear? Total value of this vote value of all the MLAs in one state. Like this, you need to calculate for 29 states. Like this, you need to calculate for two state assemblies present in Delhi and Pondicherry. And if you club all these, you will get the total vote value of all the MLAs. And in order to maintain the parity between state and the central government, the total value of all the MLAs in the country should be divided by number of elected members in the parliament. How many members are there in the parliament? 545 plus 245. Out of that 545, I am removing 2 because nominated members are not permitted to vote in the election. Out of this 245, I am removing 12 members and I am left only with the 233 members, because 12 nominated members are not permitted. So obviously 543 plus 233, that is a figure that is available in parliament. But there may be some vacancies. Today, if you look at Rajya Sabha, there are more than 10 vacancies. Obviously, the vacancies will not be taken into consideration. And if you look at so many assemblies that are present, 29 plus 2 assemblies, definitely there may be some vacancies in one state or the other. Vacancy means maybe an MLA might have died, maybe an MLA might have been disqualified, maybe an MLA might have submitted the resignation letter. Reason may be anything. If a vacancy is there, that will not be taken into consideration, and the vote value will be calculated depending on the number of MLAs available. Am I clear? So like this, I'm calculating the vote value of all the MLAs in the country, and if I'm dividing that with the number of elected available members of the parliament, right, and whatever the figure I'm going to get, that is the vote value. That is the vote value of the so-called member of parliament, meaning that is equal for Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, right? And by taking this value, the members will be voting in the elections. Every MLA has got vote value in all the states, right? Within the state, the vote value of all the MLAs is common. But if you compare one MLA in one state with other MLA in some other state, vote value will vary because of the variation in the population, also variation in the number of MLAs. Clear? Am I clear? Right? So within the same assembly, vote value is same. Within the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, the vote value is same. And with this vote value, the members will be voting in the elections. Is that clear? Very, very important. And how exactly you are going to vote. Even today also, the election of the president is happening on the ballot paper. So 1, 2, 3, 4 names are given. That all depends on how many people are contesting the election. Right? In the Lok Sabha elections, what you do, you will just go and press the button against the name of a candidate and you will come out. That is called straight voting system. But here in the alternative voting system, you are going to give the preferences, meaning every MLA, every member of parliament will give the preference. What do you mean by this? According to someone, if a particular person gets elected as the president, I'll be happy. So against that person, you will give the number 1. Meaning your first priority vote is given to some X. And the same person will also be asked to give his second preference and also third preference to some other candidates. If that person does not get elected, let my choice be to the second person. Meaning every voter is called elector. Every elector is voting for all the candidates who are contesting in the elections. It is not compulsory, but it is expected that it is better to give, this is second preference vote and third preference vote. Clear? Person is one, vote is one, but you are giving your preference to more than one candidate. Right? This is called alternative voting system. What is the use of this? So we are going to understand after some time. But before that, I would like to show you the document and I'll explain you. Till this point, I'll show you some points now. Then we'll be moving ahead. Look at this. This is how you are calculating the vote value of an MLA. Look at this. So total population of the state divided by total number of elected members in the legislative assembly, and you are getting some quotient. If that is divided by 1000, you are going to get the value to vote value of an MLA in a state. And if it is exceeding by 1/2, that is counted as 1. I'll show you the example. So let's look at the example of Andhra Pradesh. Look at the example of Andhra Pradesh. And I also have the information related to, the so-called Punjab also. We'll also see. Now, I am not discussing about today's Andhra Pradesh. Today, Andhra Pradesh has been bifurcated and we got a new state called Telangana. So what are the example? I have that information. I'm taking the example of the year 2012, right? And I would like to show you along with the illustrations. And I'm talking about the United Andhra Pradesh of the year 2012, all right? And of course, the population is related to 1971. Today in Andhra Pradesh, you have 175 MLAs. I am not talking about that. I am taking the example of United Andhra Pradesh, where you have 294 MLAs. All right. Whatever the information I am giving you, that is just for the sake of example, only for a better understanding. Now, look at this. Look at this now. So total population of Andhra Pradesh as per 1971, 4 crores 35 lakhs 2,708. Number of elected MLAs 294. And the number of votes of each MLA, how do you get it? So you have to divide the population with the total number of elected MLAs. And you are getting some quotient, and that you should divide it by 1000. You can look at the screen very clearly. It is given, and the total value what you are getting is that it is 148. You are getting 148, meaning the number of votes for each MLA in AP, Andhra Pradesh, is 148. Meaning the vote value of an MLA, one single MLA in Andhra Pradesh, is 148. Then what will be the total value of all the MLAs in Andhra Pradesh? Obviously, that is 148 into 294, right? So 294 multiplied by 148. What is this? 294 is the total number of MLAs in Andhra Pradesh. And 148 is the total vote value of one MLA. In order to get the total value of all the MLAs, then we need to multiply like this and we'll be getting the number. So, right, like this we have calculated for Andhra Pradesh. So, like this, you will be calculating the vote value for every MLA in every state. Another example, I have example of Punjab. Have a look at this. Total population of Punjab 1 crore 35 lakhs 51,060. MLAs 117. So total population has to be divided by number of elected MLAs, and you are getting the value of the vote value of one MLA in Punjab is 116. I will share this document with you later, and you can save this document. So obviously, total number of votes from Punjab is 116 into 117. 117 is number of MLAs. 116 is vote value of one MLA from Punjab. Like this, you will be calculating for all the states and Delhi and Pondicherry. Once it is done for 29 plus 2 from 31 areas after doing this, then you are going ahead. Look at this. Look at this. Each elected member of either of the House of the Parliament shall have such a number of votes as may be obtained by dividing. What is that you are dividing? Already you got the value of one MLA in a state. You got the value of all the MLAs in single state. You got the value of all the MLAs in the country from all the states and Delhi and Pondicherry. And you club this, that will become the total number of votes assigned to the elected members of the state assemblies. And that you have to divide by total number of elected members of both the houses of the parliament. Obviously, 543 plus 233. Right? I'm eliminating 2 members from Lok Sabha, 12 members from Rajya Sabha. Apart from this, there may be some vacancies, and those vacancies will not be taken into consideration. Right? Now, look at this. For the presidential election, the population of a state is taken to be the population at the last preceding census. Just now I told you in a very elaborate manner why we are taking 1971 census into consideration. Right? Next is the so-called, this proportional representation. Article 53, you already know this. And the underlying principle of this proportional representation is to prevent the exclusion of the minorities from the benefits of the state and to give each minority group an effective share in the political life. Now look at this. So when it comes to the quota of votes, now let's understand what is the meaning of this quota of votes. So there are several ways to find the, look at this. Now you need to calculate the quota. How do you calculate the quota? The quota will be calculated in this format, saying that what is the total valid polled votes? What is the total value of the valid polled votes? Why I am using the term valid polled votes? Because there may be some invalid votes. In the previous class, I gave you the example of Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav. It happens, sometimes it happens. That is the reason why you are taking the total value votes into consideration. What is the value? Whatever the total value of all the MLAs and all the MPs put together is called the total value. And how do you decide about the election of a candidate? Right? And obviously, once you have the total number, and in India, the total value is more than 10 lakhs, in fact. But I take very small example and show it to you very clearly. Right? So the total value will be more than 10 lakhs. And how do you decide who win the election? Obviously, you need to get 50% plus 1. How do you get the 50% plus 1? Total number of votes divided by 2 plus 1. That's it. Anybody who gets 50% plus 1 will be declared elected. But what is the guarantee that somebody will be getting 50% plus 1? Nobody may get more than 50%. Then the trouble will begin. So to shoot the trouble, so we have other principle. So that's what we are going to understand. That is called a distribution of the votes. Listen very carefully, understand properly. Look at this. So if you want to decide the quota, total number of valid votes cast should be divided by total number of seats to be filled. How many seats are there? President only one, right? Plus one, that is equal to 2. Meaning total number of valid votes polled divided by 2 plus 1. That you will get the quota. So meaning 50% plus 1 out of the total. If you take 10 lakhs, imagine the total value is 10 lakhs. Obviously winning candidate must get minimum 5 lakhs plus 1. If he gets 6 lakhs, no problem. 7 lakhs, no problem. But the minimum you have to get at least 5 lakhs plus 1. That is called this then only the person is declared elected. But the point is that what is the guarantee that the winning candidate will be getting minimum 50%? Sorry, in the first round itself, the person will be getting 50% plus 1. Obviously, chances are very, very low because number of candidates are contesting. In the first counting itself, if somebody gets a 50% plus 1, that person will be declared elected. Otherwise, what happens? You have to distribute the surplus votes. Clear? And you have to transfer the votes from one candidate to the other candidate. What do you mean by this? I'll show you along with the example now. Look at this. So distribution of the surplus votes, elimination of the bottom candidate, right? And how the proportional representation works in the election in the Indian president. Examples here, the total number of valid votes is 15,000. I told you already, it is more than 10 lakhs. Just for your understanding sake, I have taken a small number, that is 15,000. And imagine 4 candidates have contested the elections, right? Candidate A, B, C, D. And MLAs have voted, and members of the parliament have voted, and the total is 50,000, right? And there is a vote value place. And on this one, in the first round of counting, A got 5,250, B got 4,800, C got 2,700, and D got 2,250. Now tell me, whom do you declare elected? You cannot declare somebody got elected here because nobody got 50% plus 1. 50% plus 1 means 15,000 divided by 2 plus 1, meaning somebody should get 7,500 plus 1 minimum. But in this case, nobody got it. Obviously, I cannot decide who got elected. Just because A got highest number of votes, I cannot declare him elected because this is not the straight voting election. If it is a straight voting election, I can declare A is elected, but I cannot do this. This is the alternative voting. In this case, what do you do is that out of these 4 members, you will pick up a person who got lowest number of votes. Obviously, in this case, D. Immediately, D has to be eliminated. D has to be eliminated. See here, for D, some votes have been casted in the first preference, and the people who gave first preference to D, they might have given second preference to A, third preference to B, and fourth preference to C. That all depends on their choice. Am I clear? When I say A got 5,250, it does not mean that A was not given second preference. A first preference is equal to 5,250. B first preference is equal to 4,800. C first preference is equal to 2,700. D first preference is equal to 2,250. The people who gave first preference to D definitely have given second preference to either to A or to B or to C. That all depends on the interest of the people, how exactly they have given. Now what will happen? Here D will become invalid because D has got the lowest number of votes. Then D will be eliminated, but not the votes. Now Leaving the first preference of D, second preference votes will be taken into consideration. And some people have given second preference to A, some people have given second preference to B, some people have given second preference to C. Accordingly, the votes will be transferred and that will be combined to the first preference votes of A, B, and C. Hope you are following me. Look at this. So total is 15,000 and winning candidate must get minimum 7,501. Now, look at this. In this above case, what will happen? D will be eliminated because D got lowest number of votes. And the second preference is recorded in the 2,250 ballot papers on which he obtained. The first preference will be transferred to the remaining candidates. Remaining candidates are A, B, C. Look at the total value, 2,250. Out of this 2,250, I am calculating the votes of D here. First preference is gone because D got lowest number, remove him. And in those ballot papers, 300 have been voted in favor of A as the second preference. 1,050 have been voted in favor of B as the second preference. 900 have been voted for C as a matter of second preference. So this second preference votes that have been polled in ballot paper of D, that will be transferred to the respective candidates. Clear? Already you have a look at this. A got 5,250, B got 4,800, C got 2,700. Now, since A got second preference votes in the ballot papers polled for D, that 300 will be added to A, 1,050 will be added to B, and 900 is added to C. And how it will be transferred? Have a look at this. Now, A, already he got 5,250. Now, second preference votes of D have come into the picture in the form of 300. What is the total? 5,550. B has already got 4,800. Now plus 1,050 and you got 5,850. C has got 2,700 plus 900 have been added now. Now the total is 3,600. Now tell me, who should be declared elected? Who should be declared elected now? No one, because nobody has got 50% plus 1. That is the reason why, again, if you look at this ABC, the least number of votes are there with the C, so C has to be eliminated. Clear? C has to be eliminated. And if you are eliminating C, you are eliminating the candidates but not the votes that were casted to C. The people who voted for C, they might have given second preference votes to A and B also. That is the reason why the second preference votes will be taken and that will be transferred to A and B. Right? Look at this. Now, in the second count, therefore, C having obtained the last number of votes is eliminated and 3,600 votes secured by him are once again transferred to A and B in the order of third preferences recorded thereon. Suppose the third preferences on the 3,600 ballot papers recorded in favor of B are in the form of 1,700 plus 1,900. Then what will happen? So from C, 1,700 will be added to A and 1,900 will be added to B. Now look at this. Who should be declared elected? If you add like this, you are getting 7,250 votes for A and 7,750 votes for B. Obviously, in this particular case, B should be declared elected. So I hope you got it. So this is really a very, tiresome process. In fact, it's really a very tiresome process. Luckily, in the first count itself, if somebody is getting more than 50%, then no problem. The problem will come into picture only when nobody gets more than 50%. Then obviously, out of the candidates who contested, the candidate who got the lowest number of votes will be eliminated. Candidate will be eliminated, but not his second preference votes. That will be transferred to the other candidates. again the calculation will be done. If somebody is getting more than 50%, that person will be declared elected. Otherwise, again, the next preference votes of the lowest polled votes candidate will be transferred to other members. Like this, it will be calculated till you get minimum 50% plus one, only to see that whoever is being elected as the president of India should have minimum support of 50% plus one. Is that okay? That is the reason why he is the representative of entire India. A representative of India means 100% need not support him. 100% need not support him, but in a democracy, minimum 50 plus 1, if that support is there, that itself is enough. Clear? Am I clear? And even today also, the election is happening on ballot papers only, and the EVMs were not developed to that standard. So where you can give the preferences and calculate like this. So right, even on the ballot papers also, there is so much of confusion for the members who are voting in the elections, right? But when it comes to the EVMs, it will be further, complicated for the members. That is the reason why, this once the notification is released, once the candidates are announced, I told you already, if there is only one candidate, that the candidate will be declared elected immediately after the last date is over. But if two candidates, more candidates are there, then we are going for the election on July 17th. Clear? And so this is really a complicated process, and please follow this very carefully. Every point what I told you is very, very important, and in order to understand this particular class properly, you must also understand our earlier class also. Is that clear? And maybe in the main examination, any main examination like civil services or group 1, you may be asked to write the whole procedure. So since this is the election year, you may be asked to write the manner of election of the president of India. Then you write the same procedures. Don't make any mistakes. Okay, don't make any mistakes. You write the procedure and you will be given very good marks in that. Clear? And definitely, so this is really a complicated process, and it takes some time to understand this in a better manner. If you understood this, I really appreciate. Thank you so much for understanding me in a better manner. All right. And if you are not, please watch this video once again. All right. And whatever the document along with the examples I have shown you, so the document I'll be uploading in our current affairs document on 1st of next month. Right. So, but please listen to this video once again. Listen to this video once again, and you will be understanding in a better manner. Clear? And this is the election year for the president, and we are going to see a new president of India very, very soon. Right? So that's all for the day. Thank you so much for being with me, and have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you again on Monday with more current affairs. Thank you so much.